Welcome back to the channel, people. We are now on part number 4 of how I started my plumbing business in the UK with me, Mr. London Plumber. Make sure you like, share and subscribe and press those notification bells to understand when I'm dropping the next video on this episode. So we have now got to the point where I've registered my business. I've got the foundations as well, because I know what my business needs to be providing when it comes to being a plumber. I've also spoke to you about my journey of when I was in college as well. So I always want you guys to understand that having a mentor in plumbing is so necessary. So I've got 2 mentors in my life, yeah. One of them is my uncle Llewellyn, and the other one is my other uncle, which is called Clive. So I've got 2 different uncles on 2 different sides of my family, which are both plumbers for equally the same amount of years, gas engineers as well. So you can understand what I'm talking about when it comes to the knowledge and the experience which I'm being passed on by. What I have to do in this situation is listen with my ears, yeah? Ask questions with my mouth, because none of these questions which I ask any of my uncles are stupid questions, because I do not know. Be like a sponge. When you have the opportunity to have a mentor, someone who is willing to teach you the game for free, understand the opportunity. You're going to learn from their mistakes and your own which you make. Do you know how valuable that is? You couldn't pay some people to mentor some people. You ask some of the biggest plumbing firms in London or in the UK, can you mentor someone for a while? What is in it for me? They will say to you, nothing. I'm not sure it's going to happen. If I'm wrong, please someone make a video and prove me wrong. But they're not going to be up for it. My point is, the experience, the knowledge, the conversations, the being able to do a job, and if I felt uncomfortable or unsure about what I was doing, to be able to go to the van and say, Unks, this has happened and this has happened, what do you think? And then being able to give me kind of a definitive answer over the phone allowed me to go back into that job and finish it off correctly how it should be done. Take pictures, take videos before, so you can document your work, but you can also understand where you're going wrong, because that will happen. And when I started showing my content to my uncle, which I did do on a regular basis, we would talk about it. And that's the time where I would learn the most. And I can honestly be honest about that, because that's what these episodes are about. Nothing but honesty when it comes to building this plumbing business. It took me maybe longer than it might take you. But one thing I know, that with mine, I built it off of the core foundations, which I know make sense. And yes, I could have spent more time on it. But invested doesn't mean investment. What it means to me doesn't mean uninvesting at any time. It means keep going. It means that today might not be the best day, but tomorrow will be better. That's what it's meaning for me. So I took that philosophy, kept it rolling with doing jobs, but also meeting up with some of my friends, like I said to you in the last episode, doing jobs and actually documenting them and actually saying to myself, no, I feel proud enough to put this one out. I don't care if people critique me about certain things. I got to this point. This is something for me. To where I've come from, to where I'm going. Yes, it is. You get better at time. And social definitely helped me improve that, because I was now seeing what they call standards within plumbing, right? Everyone should have standards. Things what you do all the time, and things what you make sure you do not do. So you do not leave somebody's property how you would not leave your own. That's been a standard and a staple point within my own business, Mr. London Plumber. Just because we're not massive, we don't need a bad rep. We don't need someone writing negative comments about us. Yes, it can happen because someone could not like your personality. But there's a point. The point is understanding your customer service. And that's something that I only got more and more while going out there, experiencing life, experiencing jobs, difficult customers, people saying, nah, this is not right. I would like this change, please. So having a fussy customer might teach you a long lesson. How to come at other customers, how to promote your business a little bit better, how to be clear about what you're saying. These are things which took time to learn, but when I look back, I'm so grateful that I was able to have those lessons, because I could always teach those lessons to others. I could always help people with something like that. I understand that where some others might go wrong, where you think, I'm not doing nothing, it's nothing to do with me. I had conversations like that with many of my trade friends. They'll tell me about a job what they've done. They said, oh, the customer don't want to pay me. Well, did you speak about that fee which you said was going to be X, or you just told them at the end? No, I told them. Is there any evidence, texts, emails, any paper trail or anything? Nothing? Come on. We need to have these things in writing. I've said many a times, yeah, when you fail at something, it's just a lesson. I've failed at this many a times while trying to make this business work. But I've realized from my mentors of people who I respect within the industry on both sides, they be failing too. They be open about it. And I'm like, oh, so it's okay. It is okay. But we feel sometimes, and I'm going to take this from a man's point of view, is that we must get everything right. I didn't go to college for business. I went to college for plumbing. I've learned the business, and it's took me longer, but I've learned it in a way where I can now operate as a business without other people being involved. I don't need to be a subcontractor for someone. I don't need to get contract work for someone. I can get my own work. Therefore, dividing the pie at the end of the day becomes a lot more me, which I like. But it takes a certain level of responsibility and a certain level of due diligence as well, because going over and checking things when you're the only person to check things becomes time consuming. But working on the skills which I have to make them better and create more skills from it is something which is ongoing. You know, I watch other people to learn from them. And then I try to practice the things which was done. So therefore I've got another thing which I can do. It's not been easy, because having a plumbing business, there are things which are called like high seasons and low seasons. Times when you're in demand and times when you're less in demand. But making sure that you've got enough customers to cover those times is even harder, because you don't know where to find your next customers. So that led me down the road of always going to online, because when I was online, people actually found me. It was surprising, but they did. And I think they found me because of the value which I was given in my posts while talking over them, narrating over them, explaining as well. So I continued to keep doing that, and it started to build more customers, more people, more reviews on my business Google page, which helped my company so much, because people would go on there, they'll be like, oh, you got all these good reviews, excellent, yeah, I'll book you. And these are some of the things people look at. And what I did at some points, I asked people, how did you find me? Oh, I found you through Instagram. I found you through Instagram. Then I went onto your business Google page and I looked at your reviews and I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, so this formula works. So now let's keep doubling up on that formula and make it work even more. As you know, at this point in the video, I would ask you to subscribe. If you've learned anything from my video today, I would ask you to subscribe, because it's YouTube currency. Liking, sharing, understanding how to turn that notification bell on so you know when the next episode is dropping. Because the next episode will be number 5. where we indulge a little bit more about having a UK plumbing business, which I started. Let's go.